So the shop owner was a biggest member of this biggest church in South Africa, based in Limpopo. I don't want to mention names, but I know that if I say it that way, you will understand which church I'm talking about. So he used to hire people from the church that he's attending. So those people used to be, distributed to all his different shops. It was well known that, these shops, are owned by a guy from this church, and people who are working in these shops, they are members of this church. Big church. And things were just easier for him because of now they are all doing the same thing. If it's going to be a service Wednesday night, everybody knows that when they knock off, people will go to church. If it has to be Friday night service, if it has to be Saturday night service, guys know that, when we knock off, we just have to get to our church uniforms and we go to church and we praise God. It was easy for him because he can manage, the whole situation because he attends the same church. But, things started to be sour when the workers joined the union because of they felt like they were underpaid. Once they joined the union, things went bad. And he decided to fire the whole staff and hire the new guys. And we were actually the new team showing up. Because there was a moment whereby we met people who used to work for him before. And they were telling us that, the guy is a bad guy, he's not going to pay you, this and that. But we were excited because we just got a job. We all black people, we are fighting because of now. Here's the opportunity to get a job and others are losing their job. So the shop owner felt like he likes the new team better than the old team. Because we were younger and we were doing the job way, faster than the other team. So he decided to pay them off. Because they were saying, we are busy going up and down with him to court. And he said, listen, guys, I got money, I will pay you. Now, because of he has a bad reputation now at church, he had to send one of his supervisors to go and hire on his behalf. That's the reason why he didn't go himself to church, and he decided to do what? To come to Bashley, where he will find, guys sitting. It was the first time he's hiring people who are not members of the church. Now, I have to give you the, full story because it's going to be a slow burner, but I love telling stories. That's why we love the art of storytelling. Now, there was about 8 people who came from church who were hired by the supervisor, who were paired with us so that we can at least balance the team so that, the shop can have more people. So there was this other guy who was hired from the church. He was tall. He was the member of that church, wearing a cap, light skin with muscles. And when he arrived, everybody banged on him that, okay, he's not young, he's buff, he can do the job, because that was a heavy duty. There was a time whereby a truck will be parked outside and we have to offload flowers, or we have to offload, those 50 kg of maize meal, or we have to offload, those 12.5 sugar. It was that kind of a job. So I remember the first day when we got hired, we were introduced to everybody there. And there was this lady, beautiful lady, plus size, light in complexion, and I connected so well with this lady. So I remember once the lady found out how much we were going to be paid a month, she said she cannot work for that amount of money. I spoke with her because we just met. Because once I saw her, I was like, there's my lady. Whatever I need, the way she's so kind to me, I will always go to her and she's going to help me. So I had a moment where I asked her, like, why do you quit? And she said, no, I cannot work for that kind of money. I understand that you are young. I understand that you are taking whatever opportunity that you get, but I'm not your age and I have responsibilities. I cannot work for so much money. We were paid 1,060 rand a month. Waking hours was from 6 o'clock to 7:30 in the evening or at night. Obviously, we were eating there at work. There was a time whereby, we were cooking in there and we will have different types of menu daily. And early in the morning, of course, we will have breakfast. We will take bread there and make, tea. That was how this, the setup was. But money-wise, it was 1,060 bucks. So she didn't want to work for that money. She said she'd rather go back to church and wait for the good opportunity. I didn't understand what she was telling me that time. I only, understood that about a year later when I realized that I'm not getting paid enough. Because of now, I was going to places like Macro, to go and buy stuff for the 4 shops. And sometimes I will go to, Kit Kat in Pretoria to buy, stuff for, those shops. And the salary was the same. And I remembered what the lady told me. I didn't date the lady. She happened to be somebody who spoke some knowledge, but I didn't even pick it during that time. After the lady left, those who are remaining there, we started knowing each other. And that's when I met this guy, Colin. Colin, he was one of those guys, man. Very, very proud of himself. He was short, dark in complexion, speaking Selobedu language. He's from that side of King Monada. I've never seen a guy so confident like that guy, Colin. Colin will always tell you that, my mother's prayers are protecting me, man. That's how it goes. Mothers will always pray for their children, and their children can do whatever they like. He used to have this quote that says, "Ngwana botlhale o re lokela ka hae, o raga thuba mafastere." He batswadi ba mmeta. Ba ska tisha letso ba fela ba mokwela bohloko ba opola re ke ngwana bona. Oh my God, I have to translate that. He used to say a wise kid will play in his parents' yard, so that even if when he breaks windows, when they punish him, they will feel pity for him. They won't punish him hard because they will remember that, he is still their child. They will still show love and they will still remember that, he is learning, he is young. And they shouldn't just throw him under the bus or throw him to the wolves. That's additional weight anyway. I was supposed to say they will be merciful to him or they will show remorse. They will not go hard on him. But anyway, that's English. Sometimes when you translate certain languages, things get lost in translation. But that's how Colin felt. His mom was just a biggest member of the biggest church that I spoke about. So, on Wednesdays, there is a time whereby mothers or women will have their own service where they will, preach and do all the type of stuff. So his mom was one of the respected women in the church. She was like more of an elder, and he felt like he shouldn't worry much because his mom's prayers will always protect him. So shortly after, we were introduced, the defining moment arrived. The moment that separates boys from men. The truck was outside. It was the short time. We had to go and offload the truck. And when we talk about offloading the truck, if we talk about maize meal, it's from the 1 kgs in a pack. Then there will be the 2,5s in a pack. There will be the 5 kgs in a pack. There will be the 10 kgs in a pack. There will be the 12.5 in a pack. And there will always be the 25 kgs in a pack. And then we will have the 50 kgs of maize meal. So all those sets, when we start with the 1 kgs, we are putting those 1 kgs on our shoulders, or else you can use your head. I prefer to use the shoulder than using the head. So if the first guy is taking 3 of them to the shoulder, the second guy is supposed to take 3, and the third guy is supposed to take 3. We must all take equal load and equal weight until we finish the truck. When we're done with the 1 kgs, we go to the 2.5, and when we're done, we have to go to the 5 kgs until the maize meals are done, so we can focus on the other things that we were offloading. So the person who is number 1, he has to go and drop everything at the storeroom and come back as number 1. So number 2 has to follow number 1. Number 3 has to follow number 2. That's how it goes. So if it happens that number 3 showed up and the number 2 didn't show up, that means number 2 couldn't keep up. So they knew that if you can stand your ground, work until the end, that means you are ready to join their team. So I just told myself that I've been through the worst situations. I was at home, paid 8 rand to load and offload a truck filled with sand. I had to work in the brickyard and I was paid 32 rand a day. I can survive this as long as we are 6. If they can go through it, I can also go through it, because I survived in a space where I couldn't, working with men who were way older than me, lifting that sand from the river to the truck. I can stand my ground. So once the first guy is putting 3 12,5s of maize meal on his shoulder, I did the same. Until we're done with the 12,5s. When we go into the 50 kg, if he lifts that 50 kg, I was right behind him. I also went there and I told the guy, give it to me the same way you gave him. If he is crossing it, give it to me the same way you gave the first guy. So I did that until we are done. And the gentleman that everybody was banking on him, he couldn't survive. Halfway, he was going in and out of the bathroom because he was trying to find a way to rest and make sure that, we will all finish the truck. In that way, they gave me my respect. And that's how I got very closer, to those guys. We were like brothers. Now, Colin had a habit. He loved women. Colin loved ladies. Once he see a lady, he doesn't want to know which church she comes from, even if she's wearing red and white beads. Because there was this time when he spoke with the lady who is a traditional healer, and she said yes. He came back to us and he said, guys, listen, we are not going to be broke no more. With this one, we will be just sitting early in the morning and someone will knock because of the one hair service. That's how we're going to make money.